Scrat, a saber-toothed squirrel, attempts to find a place to store his acorn for the winter. Eventually, as he tries to stomp it into the ground, he inadvertently causes a large fissure to form in the ice that extends for miles before setting off a slab of glacier ice which nearly crushes him. He barely escapes but finds himself getting stepped on by a herd of prehistoric animals migrating south in order to escape the forthcoming ice age. Sid, a clumsy ground sloth, is left behind by his family, who have presumably done so previously, and decides to move on by himself, but is attacked by two brontodons after he unknowingly ruins their meal and makes them angry. Sid is soon rescued by Manfred, a cynical woolly mammoth heading north, who fights the rhinos off and continues on his path. Sid joins Manny, giving him this nickname in the process, not wanting to be alone and unprotected. Manny is annoyed by Sid's outgoing demeanor and wishes to migrate on his own, but Sid nonetheless continues to follow Manny. Meanwhile, Soto, the leader of a Smilodon pack, wants revenge on a human tribe for previously killing half of his pack by eating the chief's infant son, Roshan. But he wants him alive in order to enjoy the full effect. Soto leads a raid on the human camp, during which Roshan's mother flees with her son. Cornered by Soto's lieutenant, Diego, she leaps down the waterfall with Roshan. As punishment for his failure to retrieve the boy, Diego is sent to find and retrieve him while the rest of the pack waits for him at a mountain known as Half Peak. If he fails, he will be killed in Roshan's place. Later, Sid and Manny encounter the mother struggling out of a river just in front of the falls from earlier, exhausted from her plunge. A mother only has enough strength to entrust Roshan to Manny before she dies and disappears into the water. After much persuasion by Sid, they decide to return the baby, but when they reach the human settlement, they find it deserted. They meet up with Diego, who tells them that the tribe is traveling north and tries to talk them into giving the baby to him. However, both are suspicious of his intentions, and Manny instead tells Diego that he can guide them to the tribe. The four travel on, with Diego secretly leading them to Half Peak where his pack is waiting to ambush them. After encountering several misadventures on their way, during which they have formed a bond, the herd reaches a cave with several cave paintings. There, Sid and Diego learn about Manny's past and his previous interactions with the human hunters, in which they slaughtered his family, consisting of his mate and child, leaving Manny a depressed loner. Later, the group almost reaches their destination, Half Peak, only to encounter a forming river of lava. Manny and Sid, along with Roshan, make it across safely, but Diego ends up hanging on a cliff, about to fall into the lava. Manny saves him, narrowly avoiding certain death by falling into the lava on a chunk of ice and being launched to the surface. After a moment of recovery, Diego asks Manny why he would risk his life, to which Manny tells him that part of being in a herd is looking out for each other. The herd takes a break for the night, and Roshan takes his first walking steps towards Diego, who starts to have a change of heart about his mission after realizing the goodness in the herd, particularly Manny. The next day, as the herd approaches the ambush, Diego, now full of respect for Manny for saving his life, confesses to Manny and Sid about the ambush. As the pair turn hostile towards him, Diego pleads for their trust and says he can help them. The herd battles Soto's pack through trickery, but despite their efforts, Soto and his associates manage to corner Manny. Diego, in a last-ditch effort to save Manny, jumps in the way and is injured as a result. Manny then knocks a distracted Soto into a rock wall, causing several sharp icicles overhead to fall onto Soto, presumably impaling him to death. Horrified, the rest of the pack retreat. Diego, who has been wounded from his heroic act, is unable to move and tells Manny and Sid they have to go on without him, as time was running out to make it to the pass. Manny and Sid both insist that he can make it and offer to carry him, But Diego, after echoing Manny's values of being in a herd, closes his eyes and the others presume that he's dead. After mourning for a brief moment, both continue on. The two manage to successfully return Roshan to his tribe and give their goodbyes. Diego, who survived the attack after all, makes it to the pass in time to see Roshan before he leaves. With the herd now having fully accepted each other, they begin to head off to warmer climates. 20,000 years later, Scrat, frozen in a block of ice, ends up on the shores of a tropical island. As the ice slowly melts, an acorn that was also frozen in the same ice block is washed away before he retrieves it. Enraged, Scrat breaks out of the ice block before he finds a coconut and tries to stomp it into the ground, only to accidentally trigger a volcanic eruption, with Scrat nervously chuckling at what happened.